What's going on, Legionnaires? Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm here to talk about Absolute Power, DC's first big summer blockbuster event in years. It's been since Death Metal since we had something of this magnitude happen that really had so many stories, so much tight continuity leading us into a big summer event. I got all the details right here, and we're going to get into all of it. Don't go anywhere. Shout out to the homies over at Big Time Collectibles. Be sure to check out their website, follow them on social media. If you need anything cleaned or pressed, in the description is a link to JustinComicx on Instagram. He's got you covered. And as always, a huge shout out to the homies over at ABX Comics and Games. That's where I pick up all my new books. That's where I'll be picking up all of my Absolute Power books as well. They have a fantastic Facebook group. If you're new to the hobby, if you've been in the hobby for a while, or if you're in the tabletop gaming and stuff like that, check out the links below. Fantastic people. Absolute Power is what we're here to talk about. Summer's big blockbuster event from DC Comics, which will be bringing together what's known as the Trinity of Evil. This event has been built out for a while. It was officially announced at the Comics Pro Retailer Summit this past year, and it's actually looks like it's going to be fantastic. They have the creative team of Mark Waid and Dan Mora working on it. They've previously been working on World's Finest together, as well as Shazam. They were pulled from Shazam, and now we know why. It's to tackle this project where they'll be spearheading the 4-issue main body of this. So instead of having a 12-issue year-long event or a 7-issue, 7-month-long event and unlimited number of tie-ins, it's ridiculously hard to follow. We are doing a 4-issue event with a special edition one-shot. So it's like 5 issues. It'll still have that same feel that DC Comics has been doing with the past few events, where it's just kind of in and out. You don't have time to get burned out before it's already delivered what it has to deliver, which is fantastic. There will be some tie-ins along the way, but we're not oversaturated with them. But the important thing about this video is to explain what Absolute Power is and what purpose it's serving and what really you need to know to pick this up. So I have it all covered right here for you. But before we dive into Absolute Power, we have to look at where it came from. This has been years in the making, and that's one thing that I'm most excited about. The best events that happen in comics have been seeded and built up and stacked on for years, and the more you read, the more it pays off. And that's what we're here to talk about. The road to Absolute Power all started years ago, actually inside of the Infinite Frontier era, and it goes all the way to the most recent events: Titans, Beast World, Dark Crisis, Lazarus Planet, Night Terror, all have stacked and added onto the story that is going to be delivered this summer. Going all the way back to Infinite Frontier Suicide Squad, the whole run was about Amanda Waller putting together a team to go invade and take over Earth 3. She wanted to set up shop over there as a government that she had been running, and they had been letting her operate with impunity, turn their back on her. They came for her. She left Earth and went to Earth 3. All the while, Colonel Rick Flag, who used to be her right-hand man, had formed a secondary team, and he was even after Amanda Waller. By the end of that run, he almost had her, and she successfully left Earth to go to Earth 3, and we didn't see her for a while. And it's important to note that Rick Flag has not been seen since that event, since that run. We haven't seen him. That whole team is still out in the weeds somewhere. I think personally that that's going to be important, and hopefully will be a massive payoff somewhere inside the Absolute Power event. Next up, we saw Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of ushered us into the big finale of the Infinite Frontier era. What we saw were the death of the Justice League occurred, and then the remaining heroes had to band together to stop the Great Darkness and Pariah from destroying the multiverse. They were able to do it, all that kind of good stuff. But the main thing to point out here is Amanda Waller made her triumphant return since Infinite Frontier in the stinger at the very end of that. We saw her return with a unique team as well. They were obviously not all from this Earth. They were from who knows where. And then in the primer that followed this, she set out and really gave us her goal. We knew what she was doing from there. She had a huge meeting, and she pointed out that her goal now is specifically to, and very driven to, eliminate all the metahumans out of the DC universe. So we went from her leaving Earth, getting a team, finding a base of operations, returning stronger, and setting out with a mission to eliminate all the metas. Next up, Lazarus Planet took off, where the Devil Nizal absolutely erupted the Lazarus volcano, causing a storm across the entire Earth. It gave everybody weird powers, and people that had powers, it caused their meta abilities just to go haywire. In the process of this magic-fueled event, Amanda Waller was able to obtain the helmet of Dr. Fate. In the big battle, Batman put it on to fight the Devil Nizal. It shattered, and she went back to the island and recovered a fragment of that helmet, where she would use it later in Night Terrors, the next event where we saw Insomnia, who was a villain born of the Lazarus effect of that reign. He waged war on the entire DCU because he blamed them for losing his family. And in this magic-fueled event, Amanda Waller took advantage of it not only to strengthen her forces with other characters that were enhanced and infused with the Lazarus effect, but she used that to create a character called Dr. Hate. She took that little shard of the helmet and was able to forge an entire helmet. And so instead of Dr. Hate, she had her own version known as Dr. Hate. Yeah, hate, fate. And we would see Dr. Hate immediately in the next event, which took place in the pages of the Titans book, called Beast World, where the Necrostar, an ancient deity, came to Earth, and Beast Boy was able to sacrifice his own life in order to stop it. But in the process, he did transform into a starro creature. The spores that came of that infected the entire Earth, causing everyone to alter and turn into animals. The Titans had to kind of fight it off, as well as the other heroes of Earth. It was actually a bloodbath in many situations. A lot of life was lost, and Amanda Waller was able to stoke the public fear and aim it all at the metahuman. So at this point, she left Earth, strengthened her forces, came back, strengthened her forces in the shadows, and has a targeted goal to take out all the heroes. And then she shifted the entire public opinion against the heroes, and she took over the Hall of Justice. It's called the Hall of Order now. She's checking and moving the Green Arrow and his entire family to gather resources for her. All kinds of stuff is happening. But that leads us up to the face of the event. Who are we dealing with in this event? The Trinity of Evil are the big bad guys. So it's going to be Amanda Waller, Failsafe, and Queen Brainiac, who they are specifically and what's going on. Amanda Waller is the director of the Bureau of Sovereignty. If you're reading the pages of Wonder Woman, you know a little bit something about that. They are the power behind the power behind the power, really pulling the strings. She's the leader of Task Force X, Checkmate, Argus. She's taken up base of operations on the island nation of Gamora, which is happening currently. Failsafe is a cybernetic killer designed and built by none other than Batman. He has a genius level intellect and tactician, a master fighter. He's near indestructible, and he's operated by the Zur-Anah mind of Bruce Wayne. And then finally, Queen Brainiac. And Brainiac in general is a super intelligent alien hive mind. About Queen Brainiac, though, we know little about. Suspected to be built by Amanda Waller and Dr. Tio Morrow, and potentially has the ability to absorb the metahuman's abilities. So a lot of those things are kind of coming to pass as we speak. Like I said, this is really being built up to in a flawless way, which we haven't seen done in a good handful of years, as they've been rebranding and rebuilding DC into this Dawn of DC era, which has just been fantastic. As far as what's happening right now in the time between this being filmed and the event kicking off, well, that is your countdown to absolute power. It hasn't been very recent since we had a proper countdown to kind of event. If you look at the Suicide Squad Dream Team right there, it actually has a banner that says countdown to absolute power, but there are other titles participating this in as well. In the Batman book, since Chip Zdarsky has taken over that title, which has been a while now, he has been building up this failsafe story. We watched him get built. We watched Batman deal with the alternate personality of Zur-Anah. We watched that personality get taken from Batman and put into this robot, where it's now self-automotive or self-operating, whatever you want to call it, self-automated. And it has now got Batman in a dungeon. It's ruling Gotham City. And most recently, we saw where it now has Amazo tech, and it's building its own Amazo robots that he has revealed to Damian. So it looks like Failsafe is making an army of Amazo robots, which we know where that's going to lead. That's going to be into the hands of Amanda Waller if he's going to be operating with her during Absolute Power. Inside of the Suicide Squad comic, we are watching Amanda Waller take over the island nation of Gamora, where she'll be setting up her base of operations. In Superman and Action Comics, we're currently in House of Brainiac, where we know that Amanda Waller is going to see Brainiac out there, and she'll be going for some tech from Brainiac, where she'll probably get the technology that she needs to absorb all these metahumans' abilities, which is the goal of Absolute Power. The story behind it is everyone's powers are being drained. And in Titan's most recent issue this past week, what was such a key point to that I noticed at the end of it, the stinger page was Amanda Waller and Tio Morrow building what looks like, very much looks like, you see it, it's Queen Brainiac. So if she's building Queen Brainiac and he's up there and she needs that tech, I feel like it's obviously going to be Amanda Waller's creation, Queen Brainiac, that she's going to be using to depower these folks, along with that Amazo army that Zurina is building. So it's all coming to that. And where we go once it hits, I cannot wait. It's Free Comic Book Day on May 4th at your local comic shops. There will be an Absolute Power special edition kicking off the event. So be sure to check it out. This is going to be a blast. This is what comic fans have been wanting. Mark Waid, Dan Mora, proper build-up, proper time, effort, and energy put into the story. It has stakes. There's reasons to care. Readers have been investing in this event long before they knew the event was going to happen. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Absolute Power. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And remember, there's some cool merch down there, as well as the join button if you want to join the channel membership. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.